Today we're diving into the wild world of politics with a showdown between two larger-than-life characters, Cowboy and Ms. Lyin Crazy. Cowboy is a businessman and politician who served as the 45th President of the United States from 2017 to 2021. His presidency focused on tax cuts, immigration reform, and deregulation. Cowboy was impeached twice but remained a polarizing figure in American politics. Ms. Lyin Crazy is the 49th Vice President of the United States and the first woman, Black, and Asian American to hold the position. Elected to the U.S. Senate in 2017, she became known for her progressive policies and tough questioning in hearings. Let's break down their policies side by side and see what they bring to the table for American voters. Inflation. First up, inflation. Ms. Lyin Crazy promises to make reducing food and housing costs her top priority. She wants to ban price hikes on groceries and help first-time homebuyers. Meanwhile, Cowboy claims he'll end inflation by increasing oil drilling and deporting undocumented immigrants. But economists warn that his plan might actually raise prices. With inflation affecting everyday Americans, it's crucial for voters to consider who truly understands their financial struggles. Taxes. Next, let's talk taxes. Ms. Lyin Crazy wants to increase taxes on big corporations and individuals earning over $400,000 a year, aiming to redistribute wealth and support working families. She's also pushing for an expansion of child tax credits, which could provide much-needed relief to families. In contrast, Cowboy proposes sweeping tax cuts primarily benefiting the wealthy, claiming he can fund them through economic growth. However, analysts warn that both plans could significantly increase the national debt. Understanding the implications of tax policies is vital for voters looking to secure their financial futures. Staying informed can make a significant difference in your economic well-being. Abortion. When it comes to abortion rights, Ms. Lyin Crazy champions reproductive rights as central to her campaign. She advocates for laws that support women's choices nationwide. Cowboy, however, has struggled to maintain a consistent message on abortion, especially after appointing judges who helped overturn Roe v. Wade. For many voters, the stance on abortion could influence their decision at the polls, as this issue remains highly contentious in American society. The candidates' positions on abortion could sway voters' opinions and ultimately determine the outcome of the election. Immigration. Moving on to immigration, Ms. Lyin Crazy aims to tackle the root causes of the border crisis, having raised billions in private funds to address regional issues. She emphasizes her experience as a prosecutor to tackle human trafficking. Cowboy, in contrast, wants to complete the border wall and vows to undertake the largest mass deportation in U.S. history. As the immigration debate rages on, voters must consider the long-term impacts of these approaches on communities and families. Ultimately, the chosen policies will shape the future of countless lives and the fabric of American society. Foreign policy. Now let's discuss foreign policy. Ms. Lyin Crazy supports Ukraine and believes the U.S. should lead in the global competition against China. She advocates for a two-state solution between Israel and Palestine and calls for an end to the Gaza conflict. Cowboy, however, promotes an isolationist foreign policy, claiming he could resolve the Ukraine war in just 24 hours through negotiations. This stark difference in approaches highlights the importance of international relations in a globalized world. Trade. In trade, Ms. Lyin Crazy criticizes Cowboy's blanket tariffs on imports, labeling them a national tax that would burden working families. She supports a more targeted approach, maintaining tariffs on certain goods to protect American jobs. Cowboy, on the other hand, plans to impose new tariffs and incentivize companies to manufacture in the U.S. As trade policies can significantly affect the economy, voters should consider how these plans might impact their livelihoods. Climate. On climate change, Ms. Lyin Crazy has played a pivotal role in promoting the Inflation Reduction Act, which invests in renewable energy. While she has softened her opposition to fracking, she still advocates for environmental protections. Cowboy, during his presidency, rolled back many environmental regulations and now promises to expand drilling. Voters concerned about climate change need to evaluate which candidates' policies align with their values and the future of the planet. Healthcare. In healthcare, Ms. Lyin Crazy has worked to lower prescription drug costs and cap insulin prices. Cowboy has long promised to dismantle the Affordable Care Act, but has yet to provide clear alternatives. Given that millions rely on affordable health care, This issue could be a game changer for many voters. Law and order. Law and order remains a critical issue. Ms. Lyin Crazy emphasizes her legal background, contrasting her approach with Cowboy's tough rhetoric against crime. Cowboy vows to crush gang violence and deploy military resources to combat what he sees as threats from radical left lunatics. This debate over safety and justice is crucial for communities across America. It will influence not only public policy, but also the trust and relationship between law enforcement and the communities they serve. Guns. On gun violence, Ms. Lyin Crazy calls for stricter laws, emphasizing the need for background checks and assault weapon bans. Cowboy, however, positions himself as a fierce defender of the Second Amendment, claiming to be the best friend of the NRA. Voters passionate about gun control or gun rights must weigh these opposing views carefully. Marijuana. Finally, on marijuana, Ms. Lyin Crazy supports decriminalization, citing the unfair arrests of many for possession. Cowboy has softened his stance, acknowledging the need to end unnecessary arrests, but remains vague about his plans. As attitudes toward marijuana continue to shift, this issue could influence younger voters significantly. Conclusion of the showdown. As we've explored today, the showdown between Cowboy and Ms. Lyin Crazy is not just about two personalities. It represents two distinct visions for America's future. Cowboy's approach, characterized by bold promises and a focus on deregulation, appeals to those who prioritize economic growth and a more isolationist foreign policy. His supporters appreciate his outsider status and unfiltered communication style, believing it disrupts the traditional political narrative. On the other hand, Ms. Lyin Crazy embodies a vision of inclusivity and reform. Her focus on social justice, healthcare accessibility, and environmental sustainability resonates with voters who seek change in the political landscape. As the first female vice president, she represents a significant shift towards diversity and representation in leadership roles. Ultimately, the choice American voters face is profound. It's not merely about policy differences, but also about the values and principles that guide these candidates. This election is a crucial moment for determining the direction of the country, whether it leans towards individualism and traditionalism, as represented by Cowboy, or towards progressivism and reform, embodied by Ms. Lyin Crazy. As citizens, it is our responsibility to engage in this democratic process thoughtfully. Educate yourselves on the issues, weigh the pros and cons of each candidate's policies, and consider how these decisions impact your community and the nation as a whole. Remember, your vote is your voice. It carries the power to shape the future. This election isn't just about who can win the most votes. It's about who will address the real issues facing our nation. The learning lesson of the story is, remember, informed voting is key. Take the time to research these policies and think critically about how they impact us and our community. Your voice matters and your vote is your power. Who do you think has the better plan? Let us know in the comments who you think has the better plan for America.